o'clock, so we will get started. Presiding tonight are Selectman Rep. Kathy Corson, myself, Patrick Moore, Curtis Bovin, and Brendan Colley. We are going to start things off. Actually, before I start the public hearings, I do need to make an announcement. Please announce at the meeting. This is a public notice that the application of Exeter Med Real Inc. for 110 High Street property, case number 1909, has been rescheduled for November 21st, 2019, for the Historic District Commission application. So if you are here to either speak on behalf of that project, then that will be on next month's agenda. Okay. Let me do it. Sure.
They misspelled quorum.
Quorum?
Yeah. Let it go down in history. I did get a referral from the landscape architect. He's still in town. Going north. Upper Valley? Yep, it's smack in the middle of the Upper Valley.
You're good. You're good? All right. All right, sorry about that, folks. Now that all of our listeners at home are dialed in, I'll make that public announcement again. The application of Exeter Med Real Inc., the 110 High Street property, Historic District case number 19-09. That public hearing has been rescheduled for November 21st, 2019, so next week, or next month's meeting, the third Thursday. So that's just an announcement. If you are here to speak for or against that particular case, please know that's going to be, the public hearing will be held next month on that one. All right.
You might want to just reintroduce that this is the Historic District.
Oh, in case they didn't get that.
Yes,
right.
they didn't get that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Welcome to the Town of Exeter, New Hampshire Historic District Commission meeting. It is Thursday, October 17th, 2019, And we are in the NOAC room of the Exeter Town Office Building. We'll get started with the first public hearing is the application of Richard and Carol Miller for the window replacement in the structure located at 47-49 High Street. This property is in the R2 Single Family Residential Zoning District, and it is case number 19-06. Please come up, representative from that property for the application.
Everybody. My name's Anthony Bairstow. I represent Window World, representing the Millers, discussing the replacement windows they are looking to put in their homes.
Okay,
Real quick, a little bit about my company, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Window World, New Hampshire, is part of Window World nationwide. We're the largest replacement window and exterior remodeling company in the country. We've just crossed our 17 million windows sold. Licensed, insured, lead safe. We are locally owned and operated. We have the strongest limited lifetime warranty in the business. We also are a true Energy Star retail partner. We have the Good Housekeeping seal, and we have a Gold Star rating as far as structural integrity and Energy Star efficiency. I've got a bunch of information about anything Window World you guys might want to know. What particular information can I provide?
okay. The first thing I'd like to ask is, on the application itself, there was one box that was checked no by the town staff, and that was photographs of the existing site, existing structure, or proposed ideas, elevations of the building or the windows to be replaced. Is any of that available for us tonight?
There are photos of the buildings, yes.
Okay. Yeah, please. Okay.
There are two buildings, so.
This is really showing the window they're looking to replace it with. It's got all the specs. I'm not sure if this is something you'd be interested in looking at.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to see that.
All right. Can you guys share? Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the photo on the left is the 30 High Street. That's gonna be our second application. This one here is the first application. The 47-49 High Street.
So we're looking to replace windows in a couple of the apartments in 47-49, which is on the first docket. We'll wait till 30.
On the photo you just gave us, which windows?
This apartment here, here, and this apartment here. This one goes in the back, so basically, first floor on this side, first floor here, and second floor over here. All the windows in the apartments.
This window also?
Yes,
So all of the front
I
elevation
believe.
and this elevation?
Let me double check.
Okay.
Second floor. Second floor. Right across here.
Oh, just the second floor?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. You guys hear that? See
Is
that?
it just the 5 windows that we see in the photo, or is it?
No, there are more. I have
assume-
I don't have pictures of the back of the house, but it's more than 5 windows. It's 3 different apartments.
Okay.
The current windows there are very inefficient.
What are the current windows?
What you see in the pictures right there.
Is that a wood window?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
They appear to have aluminum storm on them, but I can't really tell what's behind that.
I'm sorry?
They appear to have an aluminum storm window?
Yes.
The storm panel?
Yep,
On the exterior?
that's correct.
We don't know what that window is
That,
on the interior.
are they wood windows on the
They look like they're wood sash windows.
Let me take a quick picture of it. Sorry.
This doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't.
That looks like it's
Those
a
are,
pattern.
those are grills
They do
between
have
the
the
glass.
storm
and the-
windows.
Yeah,
They do have storm windows on them, and I believe they probably are wood, just from the age of the house, I'm not sure.
What is the age of the house?
That I don't know.
Look it up.
All right.
it's like turn of the century. 1890s maybe.
All right. Okay. And then the 4,000 double hung window series,
Yes, sir.
what are the materials of this window?
Vinyl replacement window.
Okay. Is this a full replacement window, as in full frame? Or is it removal of sash only and you're keeping
It's the frame as
jambs.
well, yes, sir.
the frame as well?
Yes, sir.
18.
That's part of the energy efficiency of the window is the frame. It's foam filled. It's very energy efficient comparatively speaking.
Okay. So you'll be taking that existing window back to the studs, not leaving any of the trim or anything on the exterior? Or the window frame itself, the existing frame?
Most of the window frame does, obviously, yes, it does come out. Replace it with a new window, sashes, and frames, yeah.
And the exterior casings,
In most cases, yes.
they'll be new.
Yes.
And they'll also be vinyl.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there any details on what those profiles will be on the exterior in the vinyl?
I don't have an exact picture, but I can give a ballpark. Something like so.
And those are window world
Windows.
trims?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I see that?
That's just a ballpark picture, but the exterior trim on the window.
I apologize for reading this in front of you, but this is kind of why we were hoping to have this complete before the meeting. There was also in the application, it said a sample would be at the meeting. Do you have the sample?
I have it in my car, yeah.
Yeah, can you bring it in?
Sure, absolutely. Right back.
It was built in 1890. I looked it up.
1890, yeah, so
Yeah.
they're most likely wood if they've never been replaced before.
Right.
Right.
this is 4000 series window, cut out foam frame, double pane, argon filled. Exterior, interior.
Turn that again. This is the exterior.
That's the,
Yeah, yeah, the sill is on a 5-degree angle, so that's the exterior.
Okay, so how is this gonna sit on the, are you gonna replace the historic sills that are there? Or is the whole frame
It's gonna sit on top.
of the sill?
Yes, the frame of the sill.
but if you're taking out the jams, you can't take the jams out and leave the sill.
Yeah,
If you're gonna take the existing entire unit out, you can't just take out
that's why I'm wondering if this
the
is,
head and the jams.
if this is a replacement.
So typically the window sill itself stays, this goes in
Can you
on
just
top.
grab that microphone, just because the people at home like to hear?
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
People do listen, actually, just,
I
you can
forgot.
bring it up and
mobile.
discuss,
Oh.
it's amazing what people,
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so,
So it's a replacement window. It sits in the existing frame. You take the sash out and the stops, and then that goes right back. that
so the
goes-
frame, it stays. The
This
frame
goes-
of the window stays. The sash come out, the frame stays.
That's correct.
Okay, then it's a replacement window.
Yes,
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
sorry.
Yeah, as a replacement window, one of the things that we tend to find non-historically appropriate is the fact that as a replacement, here's your frame of your original window. Your sash would likely be the thickness of your now new frame, and you're coming all the way into here. So you're reducing the daylight opening significantly, and the proportions compared to the original historic proportion window are drastically, the daylight is drastically reduced, and the thickness of the actual construction is increased. So my next question would be, did you receive this or our guidelines?
I have not seen that, sir, no.
Okay, so in every application that we get submitted to us at the Historic District, these are, we went through an extensive grant application to write these as the design guidelines. And there is a whole section in here on windows. And specific to that, is talking about vinyl windows. Vinyl windows with applied muttons lack the profiles and details of traditional wood windows that are not appropriate to historic buildings. They also are mounted flush to the outside wall without trims or casings. So a lot of these instances, with window replacement, the vinyl window replacement is gonna be absolutely our last choice, for something like that. And as so, written and spelled out in our guidelines. So, that's just, food for thought, but I just, it's just a little reservation on my part. I wish people were receiving these, when they receive, submitted an application. So with that, the construction of a vinyl window with the welded jambs and things like that are seen as non-historic details for the most part, and it's another reason that we find them to be non-appropriate in historic applications.
Okay, out of curiosity, and I don't doubt that, and that's perfectly fine. The energy efficiency, how do you handle that, out of curiosity, with historic buildings? I'm curious, so I can learn something.
You can do a sash replacement with a wood window that has a dual pane or even a triple pane. And that would fit an existing opening, even a frame. Even that, the beauty of doing a sash replacement with a wood sash is the fact that a lot of those windows are not square anymore as an original frame. And they may be an obtuse angle, or they might be a parallelogram now. But you can actually shave, and you can actually shape a wood sash to actually fit, and it would still have the dual pane or triple pane. In those applications. What we all have also seen is either repair of historic wood windows and then putting a historic storm on the exterior. Either an energy panel that is a wood frame or something like that, that actually adds that extra layer. Usually those are low V coatings. It's not a vacuum seal. It's not, argon filled. It's just an air void. But in that case, that extra energy panel is creating another layer of that low E to protect in terms of thermal transfer.
Okay.
So we've seen in other historic buildings with wood windows and sash, and even the ones that have the weight and pulleys. We've even seen applications where they take out that whole jamb of the weight and pulley and put a PVC tube inside that weight can still travel in.
Yeah.
And then they spray foam around the entire thing and actually seal that whole thing.
Okay.
So there's lots of options for it, for historic replacement and repair of windows, even before getting into replacement.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, you
Yeah,
guys want
just a
to
moment.
look at this?
Oh, I've seen it.
Okay. Is there any other questions or information I can provide?
The only other information that we would, I think, we'd need to make a decision is just if there's seeing the windows on the other sides of the property, or the other elevations of the property, if there's any.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, we can assume that the architectural detailing is the same on those windows going around, that there isn't any intricate trim or any diamond lights like there is on the first floor.
Yep.
Or anything like that. I understand that these first floor windows here are replacement as well. These are grills between the glass now, as opposed to the original diamond lights that they were. So I understand that. But I think that would be the only other indication, other than how that window itself would actually sit within a historic frame if it was a true replacement, it being acted as a true replacement window. But I mean, I believe we have enough information to at least accept the application before we would move to approve or deny.
Okay.
With that said, I would reach out to the applicant to say, in the likelihood, is it an option right now that you would want to table this application for another month until November to come back with anything different or any new information or different information? Or would you like us to proceed tonight with a?
I just continue?
Okay. All right, may I have a motion to accept the application?
I move to accept the application as complete.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so accepted. Any additional questions or comments from any of the commission members for the applicant? All right, hearing none. Do you, was there?
No, it's just,
Okay, anyone from the public want to speak out for or against the applications? Application, I should say. Okay, hearing none. May I have a motion for approval or denial of the application?
I make a motion to deny the application.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor of denying this application as a certificate of appropriateness for the historic district?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right. Disapproved. Application 19-36. All right. Next on the public notices and agendas, under new business is the application of Richard and Carol Miller for the window replacement and structure located at 30 High Street. This is case number 19-07. And that is this other one here. Okay.
Same information.
Do we know which windows in the house are being replaced?
That's the front of the house.
The windows on the front of the house have been replaced recently, and I don't
I
think,
thought I remembered an application for that.
I don't, unless I missed the meeting, I didn't see that. But anyway, they were replaced with vinyl replacement windows.
Was that for the second floor here or for the?
I
first
believe
floor?
so, yeah.
Okay.
So does anyone know if it's the second floor apartments that we're looking to replace? And is it on the back side of the house or is it the front side of the
It's
house?
on the 30, it's the backside. On the side and the back. Yeah, 30 is the side and the back. If you're looking at it from the house, it would be on the right.
The side where the automotive garage is?
I don't know the area that well.
Is it?
And if you're looking at the front of the house from the street, it would be the back, right?
Do we know what the current windows on the house are?
Pardon me?
Do we know what we're replacing? Are the current windows that we're replacing a wood window? Do we know?
Are they original windows?
The houses.
I think they're wood.
And then same information, the 400 series? from
4,000 series, yes,
4,000,
sir.
sorry,
Yes, sir.
4,000 series. Okay, and same idea, it would be.
Same everything, yeah.
The frames and casings would remain, and this would be an insert vinyl replacement window.
Correct, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm thinking that this is going to be very similar to the other in acceptance of the application.
Well, we don't have any information on what windows.
Yeah.
They're not shown in photographs, and we don't know the number, and I can't make a decision based on the information that's here.
Okay. All right. That being said, I am going to ask for a motion, I'm going to ask for a motion to table this application since we don't have enough information to accept it.
What do you need?
Yes.
What was the information you needed?
We don't know which windows you're trying to replace. Right now, we have an image of the front and the side of the building, but we believe that they're the windows that are not in view.
It would be these two here, and then these here on.
Okay.
These two.
Those were.
So that means that there's going to be different windows on the front, correct? So the other side is another kind of window, correct?
Yes.
Have those been replaced recently?
The other side?
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's been a few years.
Okay. Was that through an application at this board? This commission?
Before the historic district was the historic district, probably.
Yeah, looks like this one.
So that was before it needed to be.
I can't remember. I
Gotcha.
started doing the work, I think, last.
Okay. And the existing windows that are to be replaced are wood windows?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. All right. So do we now have enough information to accept the application?
I didn't hear which windows were identified.
I have starred there for you. Okay. Before I call for a motion of acceptance of the application, do we have enough information?
I believe we do.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept the application?
I move to accept the application as complete.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of accepting the application?
Aye.
All right, any additional discussion or questions from commission members to the applicant?
Were the windows on the right-hand side of the building replaced with a vinyl replacement window that is similar in profile as the ones you're proposing to replace the ones on the left?
Yeah. Yes.
Is
Were
that a
those-
Window World window?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I've been with the company about 6 months now. I'm
Okay.
not sure, to be honest with you.
I'd really like
Did the
to
owners
see
know?
them, I'd like proof that the same, they look the same. I couldn't
Yeah,
vote
It is the
yea
same.
or
I'm being told.
nay.
It is the same.
It's Window World, the 4,000 series? And that was 10 to 12 years ago that those were replaced?
Not sure exactly.
It was-
the one.
I saw work done there not that long ago. So,
Was it the second floor? Okay. All right.
has this house been before the Historic District Commission before? Have you submitted applications for other work for the house?
I did ask about it, and they said as long as, the front door has been,
I thought I remembered this
yeah.
property coming before this board before. I don't remember it for window replacement. That's why I was
The
asking.
front door, she just said.
Yeah, so that would make sense if it was for the front door.
The only reason it wasn't because when I asked about it, they said that as long as I was replacing, it was a replacement window, that it was gonna be fine. I wasn't making any changes or.
I think what they most likely said was replacement in kind, which would mean material and everything. Because if we don't necessarily need to see an application if someone removes, some wood siding from their building and puts it back. For example, a storm we just had comes off the building, they put it back, replace it in kind. We don't necessarily need to see an application for that. But if it's a change of material and proportion, we certainly do. We certainly would.
I wasn't told that. I just
Okay. All right.
said as long as we didn't make any changes.
All right. Do we believe that we have enough information to make a decision of acceptance or denial for this application?
It's hard to judge because the damage has already been done to the house. And it's a prominent house in the Historic District.
It is a challenge because there is a precedent of a vinyl window on the right-hand side, which is incorrect to the period house and incorrect in the historic district. But does that precedent create enough of a system that we can follow it, or do we need to choose a different direction?
I think it's-
that's the question.
I think it's a matter of having a frank conversation about, will the windows on the upper right ever be replaced and returned back to wood windows or historically appropriate? Because if not, I mean, this is probably a non-issue. By approving the application for these replacements, we're just increasing the non-conformance, or I should say not non-conformance, I should say increasing the non-historically appropriateness of the building. So by doing so, would that prompt the applicant or the current owner to actually bring these windows back to what they should have been? I don't know.
I'd hate to see them do replacement vinyl windows on the front of the first floor
Those have already been replaced, I believe.
with vinyl.
I don't.
They look like they have storms on them.
They do, the storms are there, the upper sash have the arch in them.
Yeah.
I believe that the double hung that are behind,
Mm-hmm.
I believe those have been replaced as well.
Wow.
Are the first floor windows that are not part of this application that have the arch tops right now, have those been replaced?
The front ones?
Yeah.
First floor.
No.
No.
They're not going to be.
So the ones that so what we're seeing here is just aluminum storm windows on those
Yes.
right now? Okay. All right, in that case, I mean, if those aluminum storms came off, then 90% of this front elevation is still historic in terms of the windows. So the question remains to the commission, do we have enough information?
Yeah, absolutely.
The three options at this point would be, we either proceed with a motion for approval, a motion for denial, or you ask us to table it until the next meeting and come back with some different information.
I don't know what I would do different.
It would be a different material window, because vinyl windows are not seen to be historically appropriate. That would be, the information coming back would be a revision of this application to come back in November to say, we would still like to replace the windows, but we would like to do it now with this window manufacturer. These are the profiles and details. These are the materials that we're going to use. This is how much the daylight would be decreased, if not at all. That would be the information.
And it will give you an opportunity to review the guidelines also about windows.
In which there's multiple options of repair and replacement, or recommendations and other materials that we find more appropriate, more historically appropriate.
So what about those windows that are already done?
We don't have any purview over those have already been done.
Okay, so if I do something different on the other side, it's going to look different.
That's correct.
I think what he's saying is it's not gonna look any different than your first floor. It's gonna work with your first floor. Yes, those two on the side are gonna be out of place, but then, it will be in keeping with at least the majority of the building. That's,
Probably table it till next month, let them think about it.
Table it, okay.
Yeah, you want to table it till next month? Yeah, do that.
All right.
May I have a motion to table this application?
I move to table the application until next month. That is 19-077, I believe.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, so tabled, thank you. All right, next on the application is the application of RV Palolini. I'm sorry if I pronounced that. All right. For changes to the existing structure located at 1 Center Street, People's United Bank. The applicant is proposing to remove the existing canopy to the rear of the building over the drive-through window and construct a new canopy that will accommodate 2-car wide drive-through structure. The subject property is located in the C1 zoning district commercial area,
Oh, great.
and it is case number 19-08 for us.
Oh,
I think that's
okay.
Yeah, there's a nice Georgian revival temple front on the building.
Yeah.
My name is Robert Paolini, and I'm here tonight representing the applicant and owner of 1 Center Street, People's United Bank. And we are here to ask permission to remove the small roof at the rear of the building that is over the drive-up window. And what we would like to do is to replace it with a larger roof that would accommodate both the drive-up window and an ATM machine, which is currently inside the building. And we're trying to make it a little easier for people to use the ATM machine as a drive-up instead of getting out of their car. And
So you're proposing a freestanding ATM machine also in this application?
yes. And if we're granted permission, we are planning on also making an application with the planning board to rework the rear parking lot so that we could get better flow. Right now, it's a little choppy, and we think we could do a better job with it if we're able to have that lane ATM in a drive-up window.
That was my second question.
Yes, planning board?
Well, yeah, because you do have to, you're now taking, because people come out of the parking lot through that ATM.
And they cross over
Currently.
that area. It's a little bit of a safety issue, so we are trying to address that at the same time.
So would that proposal relocate the wooden guardrail that's there?
Yes, the guardrail would be removed. Yeah, and the whole parking area would change. We would have a more gradual turn into the drive-up, and they also own that parking lot that's kind of uphill, and they want to incorporate that into one area and improve that access road in to the museum also at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, so is that parking just for your building?
Yes, just for the People's
Is-
United.
Okay. Do you need all that parking?
It's, anytime I've been there working, it's kind of full,
Oh, it is, okay.
yeah.
I'm just looking for parking, right, Julie? We're low on parking in town, so I'm just,
And all the material we're using is going to be wood painted. The columns will be a composite of concrete and fiberglass for structure, but we're not planning on using any vinyl at all.
The columns themselves, is an architectural product that you're buying?
It is, it's a structural product. We can also use a steel column and then cover it with a wood material. But this is kind of the same thing, and it's all done at one time.
Do you have any details on that? Or the product information on that column?
On the column,
Sheet
I
A2.
think just what's
It
on
doesn't
the
call it
plan from the
column.
architect.
Yeah, that shows the beam and it shows the eave trim,
Yeah.
but not anything for the column itself. You don't have that?
I don't,
You
no.
don't have that with you?
And how are you proposing to drain the roof? Is it pitched in a single direction? Are you going to taper it back with tapered insulation to center drains?
We're not going to taper it backwards, we'll taper it forwards and probably have some kind of internal gutter that will drain.
So there'll be
It's not shown in this section.
So there's a downspout somewhere that's going to happen adjacent to one of the columns?
Yeah, I don't think we have the opportunity to drain it backwards.
No, I don't think so.
it'll
I don't
just be
think so either, but
tapered.
I
Yeah,
was just wondering where a downspout was going to be, whether you were planning on doing that. I don't think there's enough space inside the column.
No,
It's
there
going to be
really
adjacent
isn't.
to a column.
Well, the only other option would be sheet flow off of the edge of the
Yeah.
eave, but that would just be hitting that second lane.
Onto the other car, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why the roof doesn't align with the stone coping on that ATM?
we were
sign?
trying to keep the coping exposed, the limestone coping, and not cover it. We did have discussions about raising the roof, but we thought there's really not too much architectural detail to the back of the building, so we were trying to keep that limestone horizontal line exposed.
So the existing canopy that's there now would be raised up about
Yeah.
Yes, right now, it doesn't really,
foot four.
it doesn't really conform. They do have issues with people driving under them and hitting them, so we're trying to get it up above 10 feet. But it still would, that limestone horizontal line still would stay exposed for the most part.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. I'm going to defer to the other district commission members to speak on this, specifically Gregory and his knowledge of Greek revival.
Well, this is a, it looks like a 1940s or 50s Georgian revival building that has modern elements. It
It
has
was a
flat.
schoolhouse at one point, I think.
Okay. Oh. Oh, that looks like Catholic school architecture.
No, it burned down, it was built after.
Oh, okay. And I'm a Catholic, so I can say that.
1952 it was
recovering.
built, 1952.
1952. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it has bay windows, and it has the center temple front with the broken entablature over the doorway, and it has colossal order pilasters, and there's an entablature and then a pediment. It's all in wood, and that gives the building its character. And it would be nice if this cantilever roof on the side at least took some cues from the existing architecture. I look at the drawings and they tell me that whoever drew them didn't understand the architecture. And
Yeah, we did come up with a couple different designs which incorporated a small gable, but they said it would not work with the water.
I don't have a problem with flat
The
roof.
flat one?
Yeah, it's, I think it's the representation of the columns, the column bases, the column capitals, and the entablature, which is thinner than the columns. So it's kind of discouraging to see something like this being proposed for in front of one of Exeter's most historic, probably one of the more important buildings in the town. So I would suggest that the architects or whoever put these drawings together took a look at looked at a book on classical architecture and tried to understand this, and then maybe suggest something that's more appropriate.
So do you think we're okay with the flat roof, but it's more the columns that you have an issue with?
Yeah, I think just the delineation of the roof and the, there's a stock crown molding. I don't know if the number there is from Brosco or from AZAC or whatever. But if they took a look at that or looked at a traditional architectural order, the order on the main building on this temple front is Doric. And if they looked at Doric order architecture, they'd be able to take some cues from that. We're not looking for for this to be an academic study of classical architecture, but at least they should make an attempt
I think
to understand what's the history of the building and the way the building was composed, and then come up with a solution that looks like it belongs with the rest of the building.
Yeah, I think Right now, it just has small, round, it actually has no poles. And I think that they thought it would be an improvement, but I understand what you mean. And
Yeah.
if I know the word, I'm going to make sure I tell them it has to be more Doric
Or
architecture.
use the Doric order of architecture
Okay.
and look at cues from the temple front
Yeah.
on the building.
Yeah,
There's Doric.
I just don't want to go back and.
Doric, Iconic, and Corinthian, and these are,
Yeah, I just
Doric.
want to make sure it's mostly, maybe a little more heaviness on the top and mostly on the columns, if that's what I'm
Well,
hearing.
it's basically a proportional system.
Okay.
The width of the column is proportional to the height of the column.
Okay,
And then all the other elements are in proportion
Okay.
with that. So when you look at a traditional building, all of the elements make sense because they're all in harmony. They all relate to each other proportionally,
okay,
rather than just saying, oh, here's a crown molding, we're going to put this, oh, this looks
Yeah.
traditional.
yeah,
It doesn't.
Okay.
And frankly, I would rather see a modern edition than see someone who doesn't understand traditional architecture try to copy
okay.
traditional building elements.
So would it be appropriate to table it and have me come back at a later date when I adjust the architectural rendering?
Yes,
Would that be
absolutely.
okay?
And I think you're going in the right direction. Some of the details just need to be adjusted. And I actually wouldn't mind if it coordinated with the datum line of the building. If we have a strong datum line
Right.
of this
That horizontal?
horizontal coming
Yeah.
across.
So
we
to
can tie
cover
into
that, you
that.
think, and bring it up
Oh,
higher?
absolutely. You're not
Okay.
going to see it anyway.
Yeah.
As soon as we have this on the building, you're not going to see
Right.
it walking
Be-
past it,
because
driving
the-
past it.
Yeah,
And that carries over, and we talk about the details. If you have a roof edge, we'll just say match the existing roof edge, so it comes out
Okay.
the same color
sure thing.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay,
I'm going to guess that this main structure was built in 1952, but this area that is the existing ATM
yeah,
that you walk into, that was all an addition.
yeah, I wish I could say I
And
knew,
then-
and I honestly don't. It was, I've been working for them for like 15 years, and I've never done anything over there
I
in
think
that
that
area.
was done when it was Exeter Cooperative Bank with Dave Merrill.
Yeah, that looks like,
The window does, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's extra.
Like in the mid-seventies.
the detailing of the parapet's different than the other two that you see there. The larger portion may have been part of the original structure as a, kind of as a mechanical area to the rest of the building. But this ATM portion and that existing canopy that's there, I think was a later addition.
Yeah,
And well, even in, case in point, that later addition, they attempted to make something that was cohesive with the rest of the building, where the window and the door are joined, and then there's a frieze and a cornice above that,
A heavy frieze that mimics the bays, yeah.
right? So that's something where whoever did that work,
no,
they were conscious of.
I appreciate the information, and I'll make sure I get back to him, and we'll have a meeting, and we'll make it more to your liking.
Yeah, if you
Well-
could, with the columns that you were talking about, if you're
Okay.
talking about those structural columns and the fiber reinforced and all that jazz, if you have a profile or you have details on that,
I
that
can
would
get
be
that. I'll make sure I bring
extremely
that with
helpful.
me. Yes.
I mean, if you find one that says it's a Doric one,
Yeah,
it may still not work.
Yeah.
The proportions should be, we need to make sure that those are right, so.
okay,
And it can be a cladding to a steel, if you have a steel post in the middle, you can still clad around it.
Right.
And propose as something
right.
that
I
works
think
structurally.
the idea behind the structural one is it's all complete, but it may be that the profiles that they have won't be correct, so we'll discuss that too.
There's a great book that I use in practice. It's called The Classical Orders of Architecture,
I'm afraid of,
and it's
I'm afraid of suggesting too much to the architect.
no, I don't think it won't make any of this any more expensive than
Yeah.
what they've already proposed. It's simple, and you can take a reductive
Okay.
approach to using these principles.
Or even graphic standards, architecture graphic standards has
Right.
That should be on the
Classical
book.
proportion.
That should be on the bookshelf.
Okay,
But the book is called The Classical Orders of Architecture, and the author is Robert Chitham, Chitham.
okay,
It's a great reference book.
all right. I appreciate it, thank you.
Sure.
I have
May-
a question.
Sure, sorry, go ahead. please.
Are you getting rid of the ATM,
Yes,
so, we're a walkable community, and I know that Citizens Bank has both a drive-through and one on the street. And so you're discouraging walking in a way. So I would like to see you keep because now you're encouraging either somebody to get back in their car and go through the ATM or go into the ATM while walking. And I know that is that's a safety issue.
yeah, I think.
I know that it's expensive to have two ATMs, but we do pride ourselves on one of the best walking communities in the area. And so I'd like to see that stay.
Yeah, I'll point that out to them. I don't think they've ever done two in one building. I think, but
Well,
I'll
their
point it out.
competition is right
Yeah,
next door.
I'll point it out.
The, what would that space become if that
they-
goes away?
I would say more, I don't know what it will be, if it will end up being storage or just an additional office or what.
Yeah, I'm just curious if
Yeah.
if it becomes a different use, if they're gonna still wanna have that exterior door
Yeah,
right there. If it becomes an
They-
office.
yeah, they didn't suggest to me that they were gonna take the door out for any reason, just, trying to get the canopy correct.
Okay.
The double wide canopy.
Gotcha. All right, may I have a motion to table the application that is case number 19-09?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, next on the application is Lisa and Gregory Wenger, is that correct?
Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
For changes to the existing structure located at 101 High Street, that includes window replacement, removal of the smaller chimney, and the proposed construction of an addition. The subject property is located in the R2 Single Family Zoning District and is case number 19-10. All right,
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, thank you. I'm Gregory Wenger. This is my wife, Lisa. I'd like to say we're the new owners, but we've actually owned the house for approximately a year and hopefully intend to be in there shortly. We are here to request permission to renovate the house and to add an addition. Our objective is to create an energy efficient house and consistency with regard to the windows that we have, and to end up with a house with, which will be a 3-bedroom house, so we're looking to add 2 additional bedrooms to accommodate our family when they come. If there are any questions or anything additional that you need, that's basically where we're going.
I was trying to figure out where which chimney? you're
It's actually the one that, there is a picture of it. There is the prominent chimney at the front of the house, which will remain. There is a side view, there's actually a couple views of
It's up on the
chimney.
center of the ridge.
This picture,
back.
This shows
On
the
the
2 of
left.
them, the large one in the middle remains. This picture here shows the side of the house. This is the side where the addition would go, and it is the smaller chimney that would be removed. Actually,
Like they're the same size.
they're,
Oh, is there a difference?
oh, are they?
Oh, there it is. Okay.
We are installing,
Which is looking,
it's over this right now.
okay.
we have brought natural gas to the house, so we will have a gas furnace, and this chimney will actually just be cosmetic, and there are actually some structural issues with
Okay.
it. There's actually a crack inside the house and some structural issues within the interior of it. So rather than trying to repair it for cosmetic purposes, we would like to remove it.
Yep.
How is Lucy doing?
Lucy was fantastic. She was
Lucy,
great.
yeah.
And I believe she's doing well. Last we heard, she was doing well.
Good. This, I'm assuming this house was built in 1940s to 1960s?
Exactly.
It was actually built in a series of phases, and some people here may know better than I do. The original house was a small cottage, which I believe was built in 1950. There was a subsequent extension of that, which was mid to late 50s, and this is based on things we found in the house, and it's all hearsay. And then I think there were two subsequent, there was a breezeway built, and the garage was built probably, not long thereafter.
It appears as, it's a classic example of basically end of World War II era, coming home, building homes, ranch style, single story living. Yeah, and it, very horizontal architecture,
Yes. Yes.
very nice.
Yes. Part of our objective is to bring it into compliance with current day codes. There are rooms on the second floor. However, they would not be, they are not code compliant today. I can barely stand in them, so.
In terms of head height?
Pardon me?
In terms of head height,
Yes. Yep.
those are likely finished out after the original build, it sounds like.
They're not necessarily
spaces.
finished out. There's one wall, they're kind of
So,
part of the structure of it, and they were used as rooms,
So
but
this is
they
getting
probably
deeper in
don't,
the nest
there are no
right
closets, so
here.
it's not technically a bedroom.
Gotcha.
This is where it currently ends, I believe. With this piece that sticks out.
Yep.
This one.
Actually, there is a single picture of the chimney.
On the materials for siding, is everything going to be replaced in kind? Are you looking to do the same? It looks like a shingle on the house.
It is, it's a cedar shingle,
So
will
we're gonna
be the
do
same.
new
painted
cedar
just
shingle on the house? Okay,
As close as we can get, stained, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Stained.
pre-stained shingles.
no worries.
And windows,
400 series Andersons with a true separated light.
And it looks like we're changing to a cottage style,
Something consistent with the area,
Mhm.
with some consideration to the admission, given that it's in the historic district, but it is in fact, as you know, 1940s, 50s
Right.
hodgepodge, if
I
you
think
will.
anything that's 25 years old is considered historic now, right?
Yes, well,
50, sorry.
I can
50.
speak to that, but whatever. Let's just
Only
say
for
that
structures, only for structures.
we're, in our minds, improving it with a consistent appearance. We're suggesting those, the fenestration that you see there in the plan, that was Lucy's suggestion, we can go with a smaller pane. We admire our neighbors adjacent.
The challenge next to us.
Yes, the beautiful barn that our neighbor has built inspired us to go with a transom style in our bathroom and in our bedroom. And so we wanted to maintain that harmony, if you will, above the windows. So as you can see, they're broken in thirds, but they could be, smaller lunette above with a larger window below. It's flexible to your preference, but we want to have energy efficient. We wanted the appearance of, and the integrity of, a wood, but without necessarily committing ourselves to wood, since we're changing from aluminum and vinyl and steel. There are three different window types, and they're dreadfully inefficient.
The Anderson 400 series is what
Yes.
you're talking about?
We're-
And the
yes.
materials of those are?
Composite, actually, there's a vinyl coated composite wood that lasts forever, but has the full profile of wood, both inside and outside. We can have it match, you see a sort of mission arts and crafts style there. And so we were trying to define it more in keeping and consideration to the district, and less of the sort of melange of styles that it currently is. I mean, there's a variety of paint colors, there's a variety of angles and errors and profiles, and we just thought a uniform appearance would be going the next step and the best quality that we can afford, while still totally appearing to be wood, even though we're replacing vinyl.
I'm confused by which side is on High Street. I can't tell.
Oh, I think.
Is it the front, is the front door facing High
Yes.
Street? So this is,
Yes. Yes.
If you want to take, so
oh, it's okay.
all of our viewers at home can.
The photograph suggests there's a courtyard with a garage, this is the garage,
It
right?
comes out,
Yeah.
and I would also like, in your packets, you see a detail of the garage doors. I'd like to change that. I think it's the last one.
Photograph?
Photo, yes.
Yep,
This, we'd like to go to the same curve that you
Right.
see in the canopy
Oh,
here
okay.
to enhance that appearance as well.
And just so you know, the house is actually set back from High Street.
Right,
so you
yeah,
do
that's
not
why,
see it,
Yeah, there's a.
it hasn't, I
Forest
usually,
before it and a beautiful stone wall.
oh, okay, that's,
street.
sure, I know that
Yeah.
property, yeah, that's, yeah. You can't really see it.
Tucked away.
Correct.
I mean, we want to do all the due diligence possible, but in fact, what you can see is the former garage. That used to be a judge's office years ago.
So this elevation.
Yeah,
does face
the
High
house,
Street.
I was in it when it was for sale. I show real estate. And, boy, there's so much potential, but it hasn't been touched since
For a long time.
1952.
We were doing a lot of touching there.
Yeah, I bet you're doing a lot of touching. I will say, I think that your house was built by the same people that built my house, because you have a fireplace in the basement as well.
Yes.
And-
With the
and-
oven.
Yeah, and you see that with, I don't know, Richard, who was that builder? But I see it,
Bomb shelter-esque.
yeah, but yeah, the amazing, what I was mesmerized by was when you walk in the door and you open the door to go down the basement, and the basement, the stairs
grand
are like,
stairs.
it's a grand staircase to the basement. And with like
Can't
the
even stand up.
chandelier, it was hysterical. But
Knotty pine everywhere.
yes, and I had knotty pine, my knotty pine is gone.
We
So-
have photographs that were given to us in our transaction that show her playing piano
Oh,
and various tables set up. There's a dumbwaiter that goes down. So
yes,
speakeasy is not a term I find easy to use, but
Yeah.
it seems they entertained and enjoyed ballroom dancing.
really, yeah, because there is the living room is very nice,
Full
and,
piano.
and the backyard is spectacular, so, you will know that there's a High Street party, and you're next on the list.
So I've heard,
Yeah,
We mapped
when you're done next year, okay?
yes,
All right, just, want to make sure.
working on
I
it.
want to see the finish,
your approval.
the finish, because it really,
gonna
it's just,
rock the house.
I think the kitchen is original,
Yes.
yeah. So it's quite, it is a time capsule, it really is. It really, you should definitely take, well, you have before, but detail before, because it's amazing.
Yeah, I believe there were probably some gatherings there because the whole house was wired for speakers and the speakers were huge.
Yeah,
I don't know how the house,
And a
not
ham
big enough
radio.
to
Oh,
handle
yeah.
it, but,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
that term
Yeah,
reoccurs.
yeah,
Anyway, my original degree is in architectural history. I come before you with all of the best intentions, but a genuine belief that,
yeah, okay, well.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
we look it, okay? We need you.
oh, well, give
Isn't it
me a
nice
little
to be
time.
needed?
In any event, I just wanted to say that the idea of having energy conservation is foremost as well and weighs heavily with the idea of things I mean, we're leaving a house that had all wood and we had to use these same windows to replace the wood because of the deterioration in the weather, which has not necessarily been as forgiving as our ideals, but we'll respect your guidance.
Yeah, unfortunately, the wood's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
200-year-old wood didn't have any acid rain or smog or anything to breathe.
And wasn't
Which-
pine.
And it was
But 19
tighter grain, slower
No,
growing.
Yep, it's just
Yeah.
not the same.
But we have electricity again in our old house before we move. So,
So are the windows that are currently there now, you said are a smattering of different things?
Yes.
They've been replaced over time. Are the profiles that are there now in terms of these vertical proportions of these windows?
For the
that look
most
like-
part-
Look for the most part like on casement windows?
Yes.
Are those,
What
True
we
to the
want to
original?
do is have the space be filled almost uniformly, except where we need to, or where we prefer to have something be a little bit longer, adjacent to or on either side of the chimney, that main chimney. They're square windows, and that would be the front facade.
And I believe the Anderson 400 window is not a replacement window, it's a full frame.
It's a
that
full
we've
frame
removed.
window, yeah.
Yes,
but it's not the Woodwright window?
it is not.
Not
It's,
the Woodwright.
It's a clad window.
Yeah, it's a vinyl clad window and has pine interior.
The composite is Fibrex, correct?
I'm not sure if that term is
No,
specific.
The 400 series is not
No.
Fibrex?
no, it's a vinyl.
PVC of their own formulation.
We can look it up.
Fibrex is the name of it, isn't it? Is it
It's it's probably something
It's wood
similar.
fiber, it's wood fiber and
I
vinyl.
think they do. It's a
Yeah.
PVC wood
Is that
fiber
like-
combination.
So that would be, if I'm not mistaken, that.
Integrity is, integrity window is protruded
It's
fiberglass.
fiberglass. Yeah.
Oh, I can go to integrity, sorry.
Yeah, that's the difference. There is a difference between them, but they are both composites.
Yeah,
And actually, I would ask that we not get bound to the 400 series for all of them, because the back of the house is extremely, sun. So we are looking, it's either gonna be 400 or better. The next series up, I think, is wood. So we're looking, because of the energy efficiency and keeping the sun out and the heat in.
Yeah.
So we may,
So it depends on the manufacturer you're going with.
well.
It would
I
always
anticipate
be
they'll all
the
Anderson.
same, so that
If
the
it-
look will be uniquely.
They would have to be the same.
So of the Anderson series, there's the 400 series that you're talking about, and
And
then
then
the
the one
next
above.
step up from that you're talking about is actually what they call their Eagle series.
Yes,
And Eagle is.
Aluminum.
Is aluminum clad. It was a company that Anderson purchased. So Eagle Windows is actually what it is, an aluminum clad. It's actually completely different than the Anderson family.
there was one I was
They're-
just shown.
They
No,
purchased,
Yeah.
and they're the same now.
I've never heard of that one, so we have been
Yeah.
looking at those.
There's one that we saw that is an Anderson product that's the next level up.
Okay,
I think
That
it's
must
called
be
a
Woodwright.
Platinum Series.
that's probably the Woodwright.
Yeah.
It is, it is, and it's the glass is really what we're looking at, keep the
Is
sun
it,
out.
they get into a triple glazed?
Pardon me?
Do they get into a triple glazed with that
I
window?
believe that it's the glazing that's the issue, if it gets triple or not. But we-
Because you can change the low E coatings on the window,
That's,
or you can change the number of panes of glass
Right.
in the
Right.
window.
so that's what's being discussed right now, because of particularly for the back of the house,
Because of the exposure.
because of the exposure,
So,
absolutely.
yes.
All right.
Can I make some
Absolutely.
comments? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the elevations are nicely composed, and I don't have a problem with altering the style of the building. I don't think it has any really strong identity as it stands right now. So I think that the design is cohesive and coherent. The only thing that raised a red flag for me is that you're suggesting segmented arch garage door openings, and I would caution you about that because you don't have a lot of height on your garage building. And you're gonna have a very flattened arch that's not gonna look structural and it will look decorative. So I would recommend that you do square garage openings and they'll look better. And you could also consider a light pattern in the garage doors that is similar to what you're doing with the windows.
Yeah,
It was just the outer casing that I was talking about, not anything.
Yeah, I understand that it's not
Okay.
the door, but the opening would be smaller than the door.
I would have gone to the outside of the two
but your
slash
arch,
cuts.
right now, the door is flat on top, the frame is flat on top. So if you're starting your arch at the top of that door, that frame right
I
now,
would start it above that.
you
and go
don't
on.
have, you don't really have any
Change the
room to do
header.
so.
That's much more of a challenge
Let's
to,
talk about it.
the
Oh,
structural
There's
change.
really no
good
trim
point.
there.
Sorry.
So you could do a nice,
Speaking as
you could,
4'10", that really doesn't like caution
We're looking
me.
out for you. Take the
Yeah.
corners out and make it
Yeah.
square, then he can walk through.
and then you can have nice, arts and crafts or mission style,
Okay.
window openings, lights on the doors.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then it would look, be unified
Simpler.
with the rest of the design.
Okay,
That garage is a lot bigger than you see here. It's a huge garage. Isn't there a
Oh,
third
there is,
bay?
there is actually.
There's a third bay, isn't there? Like
It's
it's
more
like a
like a,
golf cart.
Yes.
yes,
A
something.
tractor.
You're gonna get a golf
Perhaps a
cart and
boat
go out
went
in
into it.
Richards back 50
Yeah.
there.
On the door, front door elevation, these, the grapevines, decorative
Yes,
panels.
if you don't mind, we're
Those are
going
going to be
to
removed.
change those with perhaps a simple column of some kind, but it
Gotcha.
would be curved and not brick or grapevines, which I'm partial to, but not for this reason.
All right.
Yeah, those grapevine columns were added
Of the
at
time.
some point.
Yeah.
They, probably originally there wasn't a covered entrance,
I bet you there wasn't.
yeah. And that was added.
Okay. All right. I believe that we have enough information to accept the application. So may I call for a motion to accept the application?
I move to accept the application, case 19-10.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, further discussion or anyone from the public that would like to speak out for or against the application?
I believe we had a comment from the public that was emailed in from Ann and Bill Campbell, and they said that they have no objection to the addition.
This is 110. Oh, one, I thought
guess
this
we
was
are.
110.
No, this is
I'm sorry.
101.
It is 101. Okay. All right. So I just want to make a few notes about what we had talked about, just so that it's on the actual application.
Certainly.
So if we move forward with a motion of acceptance, it would be conditional, and we would just list those little pieces. The first was, we talked about, let's just talk about the materials. We talked about windows,
Shingles.
right? And you had asked about the Anderson series. Oh, I'm sorry, Anderson manufacturer. Anderson 400
400 series.
series. Full replacement, correct, not insert.
Or, no, forward, yes.
Okay, full replacement. Full replacement.
And I don't know if we wanted to just say that it's a clad wood window, full replacement, to give them any opportunities with other manufacturers. I don't know if I wanted to,
Do you want me
I
to get
would love
specific?
to have that flexibility for,
that's certainly all
lovely.
right. I think that would fit with the style of the house, to use a clad wood window in.
That may actually open you up to other options for your glazing as well.
is that allowed, or do we have to do exactly what's on the plan or come again?
No, I think.
We can make it part of their conditional approval right now
Okay,
by saying, by
I
saying
was-
or equal.
May I approach just to point?
Sure.
Sorry. So part of the vision that is shown here from Lucy, it's kind of an arts and crafts mission
Yeah.
style.
Cottage style, yeah.
But sometimes this can be done with 4 equal squares.
That would be
which-
more, arts and crafts, that'd be more like Rennie McIntosh.
Exactly,
And Beaux-Arts.
but you can see that she's tried to show variations given the size and proportion of the existing windows so that it's like a one-for-one exchange. So would you authorize us to be able to expand the width a hair on either side in order to accommodate, a wider profile, but the same kind of patterning where you have the separate, do you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about the profile of the lights themselves being portrait as opposed to landscape or square?
Yes, or, one more wide, as long as they had this inherent uniform style. That's our vision, is that it looks integral throughout, and then it's not
Right.
constantly varied. There's a picture window on the back side that has horizontals, and these existing windows have 3 or 4 horizontals and are steel. The other one is too. They're just letting the air pour in. But it'd be really nice if I could carry that to be even with this. Right now, these are way up here. So this is trying to, line up with the same exact
Oh,
horizontal.
are your window head heights all the same?
Yes, they are.
Then there shouldn't be any reason you can't do that
Right.
with the window itself then.
But it's all right with you all?
Same,
Well,
Carry this
I think
down
as
so
long as
it's
that,
uniform?
that there's, that the lights are equal proportions in all the windows, I think that would,
Wonderful.
and you're gonna benefit from that when you see that, so.
I think I know what you're asking. You're saying
Let's make the
within,
window
within a
wide.
given sash itself, this one right now is showing 2 lights. This one's showing 3, this one's showing 3, this one's showing 2. You're asking about making them all 3?
No, not necessarily, but
Or just-
if we went to, say, a different company and we were looking to have this sort of upper format.
It's
and
called a
then-
hanging light, yes.
And then that lower section, it may come as 4 narrower or 2. See the proportion here is quite, so we're just trying to.
so whereas this
get it
has
uniform.
3 narrow windows, you're saying having 2 wider windows
I just want to know if.
within the same opening?
If we can just work with the space that is there and always seek uniformity within whatever is the best.
I would say that we're always in favor of good proportion.
Great, that we're speaking the same language, wonderful.
So, yes, I wouldn't force something to work if it's not gonna work. But we do appreciate good proportion. And, you'll be either guided or limited by the manufacturer and the sizes that are available, if you
Yeah.
don't make them all custom.
And we're happy to keep the
Yeah,
same
everything's
color
custom
that's
now.
already there,
Yeah.
the same palette.
Yeah. Well, these are full replacement, they're all gonna be custom. Okay, yeah, I don't think we have any
I have no issue
reservation.
with that.
Great.
Okay. All right, so I think Curtis has been taking notes here. I think preparing himself for a conditional motion.
Working on it,
This was for the windows, you said?
yes.
The trim we talked about, or to be replaced in kind?
Yes, so siding and trim replacement in kind, similar to existing.
Yes.
So pre-stained shingles.
Or stained to match.
Stained to match.
Oh, stained to match?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think they're pre-stained.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
Okay.
They aren't, okay.
We get to paint.
And trims will match existing? Is that,
Existing, yeah, material.
Yeah, I have
profile.
siding and trim to be similar to existing stain finish.
Yeah.
And
Just
would
black
you like to
casings.
ask for that modification to the garage doors right now as well?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You can't see it from the street, but I just want to shoot for,
I have a feeling that if you do the rest of the house and not the garages, that every time you drive in, you're gonna.
you get it.
So what is the approval on the garage door replacement?
We made a recommendation to square them off so that it gives the opportunity for better proportion that'll meet the architectural detailing of the proposed design and would give an opportunity to do a similar light pattern in new doors.
I see what you meant now. Okay.
Arts and crafts garage doors.
Absolutely.
They look great.
We've chosen wisely.
Okay.
I think that does it.
The
I
addition.
think that we've been okay with the removal of the one chimney. The most prominent chimney is to stay.
Yeah.
And the addition looks in good proportions with the rest of the proposed and the existing proportions of the building. So I don't believe there's any other conditions, and not from my perspective. Gregory?
I think it looks good.
Okay.
Kathy?
That's fine.
All right. May I have a conditional motion of approval?
I move to approve the proposal with the following conditions: that the window replacements are a full replacement clad wood window, and that the finish on trim and proportions to be consistent, the same head height and within the existing window openings. The siding and trim on the house to be similar to the existing with the stain finish, and that the garage door replacement can be squared with similar arts and crafts light pattern.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So approved.
I
Thank
do have
you
one
very
other
much.
question.
Yes,
I'm not sure if I dare ask,
okay.
but.
You just got approved, so,
No, no.
We're here to help.
With respect to this, but it's with respect to the historic district.
yes.
We have been advised that as new owners, in order to receive mail, we have to put in a mailbox
On the street.
on the street.
Okay,
I
We're
believe we'll be the
only ones.
first.
First in
Everyone
that
else is
section.
grandfathered.
The postmaster,
We were told when.
Because you're too far in, right?
No, it has to do with a new
Yeah.
preference, and then we're the first. Everyone else is allowed to be serviced to the door, and currently our mail is put there, but they told us, you're the first new people, and so you start by putting it out there, but we're concerned that you should be aware that we're being told by the post we have to do it, but maybe they should have come before you. So before we put one in and we're in violation, we'd just like to know,
what do you want us to put in?
how do you want us to?
An arts and
handle
crafts
these?
mailbox.
Yes, of course, yes, too.
That's beyond me. So-
Have you been to the Zimmerman House?
I
And-
have not yet.
in
That is-
Manchester?
that
It's
is
phenomenal, and there's a
incredible.
beautiful mailbox at the foot of
Oh,
the
one
driveway.
that's hanging, yeah.
It's great.
So I would just,
It's a
Should check it
busy
out.
road and,
Yeah, that's,
I know, exactly, this.
yeah, the plow will take it out.
Right
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that telephone
drive.
pole and box,
Okay,
but I don't think we can touch that, but
Yeah.
we keep asking them, are you sure you want us to put a, and.
How about a small extension of that beautiful dry stack stone wall that has a
I
mailbox?
hear you, granite, my,
that won't comply with their codes.
yeah,
Well,
a gal is very she's very
I think
amicable to
that
it.
they've changed, guys. Oh, okay, I don't know.
You can
Thought-
put a
I think
granite
ours
post,
has changed so often, I thought we had the same one.
Yeah, I mean, the granite, right?
a granite post
like
with a black mailbox
like a
on
whole-
top of it. They have big, I did this for a project in
So you're not
Newburyport, Mass.
opposed to one on the street? That's all we wanted, because we're gonna be so, the
Is it
first.
considered a structure? I don't,
I don't know if we have any
Really is.
purview over
Yeah.
mailboxes.
yeah, it's
I don't
not,
think we
it's
do.
not in our
You won't get
purview.
mad.
Do that.
So,
No.
Okay,
I'd like that.
thank you.
But a solid granite post that looks like a hitching post is
You'd love it.
beautiful.
Yeah, with a rock face,
very
and then you
much.
stick a mailbox on it.
Thank you.
And we do have your email address, so when we send you a note to say, come and join
If that
us.
Yes, we'll be sure.
No, not the Christmas party, I'm saying,
Oh,
right here.
Oh,
We're warming the chair
promise.
up for
one
you.
of us will.
Okay.
volunteer.
Heritage Commission.
Heritage Commission, okay.
We have a couple things.
thank you.
All right,
Oops.
that concludes our public hearings for the night. Under other business,
You're welcome.
under other business, we have Friedman Realty, Inc., 173 to 179 Water Street, the Smith Building.
Good luck.
HDC case 2018-01, request for extension of approval that was granted in August of 2018. I do not see a representative here for that, so we will table that.
He didn't think he had to come. He asked Barb, and he did not think he had to come.
Well, the only thing that I wanted to see was what was approved back in that time. This was in August of 2018, so this was just last year.
Why would you need to see what was approved?
It's over a year.
The so the approval has expired.
The approval is expired because we did not meet that week, when it was to be approved. We haven't met in 2 months. So that's not fair to the applicant.
I'm familiar with the project, and I don't have a problem with,
Yeah, most
Ex-
boards don't look at what was approved and just give an extension. I can tell you that because I've been on the planning board for 18 years, and that is how we do it. So I would object, and rarely do we have the applicant there. I can't remember when the applicant has been at, maybe, a third of them, the applicant comes.
Well, I know we did something about as a extension for a barn.
No, Front Street, the empty lot on Front Street.
oh, right,
We did that.
across from the post office, yeah,
The applicant came in, but
yeah.
he didn't, I don't think he had to.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he
specifically
didn't-
asked.
we just approved it.
All right, well,
But it
I'm
did
going
give me an
to,
opportunity to review it.
I'm going to
I
say
wasn't
that
familiar
I
with it.
don't specifically remember the application, but if other commission members here do, and they're comfortable with granting an extension, I will have no objection. So,
Then I
May
make
I-
a motion
may I
to,
thank you.
I make a motion to approve the extension.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
I'll abstain.
We need 4 to,
Well, you have a majority,
Yeah, a majority of those present are.
yes, voting.
granted for an extension of an approval? Okay, so approved as an extension of the approval granted in August of 2018 for case number 18-01. All right, moving on. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the board under other business? Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. I'm Julie Gilman. I used to sit there. First, as a selectwoman, I want to thank you all for the service that you're doing. This is a very interesting meeting. I remember sitting over there not having very interesting meetings, so this is good. And I want to thank you for your references to our new guidelines. We have talked previously about working with the department to get those applications properly filled out, and we have seen it work on different projects. I think it's time, and I can work with Kathy and Dave, the planner, to set up a meeting for when the applications are submitted, that they really are reviewed. We spent a lot of time making those applications more user-friendly, both for the applicant and for the board. Because having to ask all those questions about materials and having people not be sure what we're
Right.
talking about is really a difficult thing on both sides.
And the other is when I hear, no, I didn't know about those guidelines, and we had a grant for what, 25,000, 30,000? And they're not being shown the guidelines.
Multiple man hours
Yep.
and woman hours.
So I would like to recommend that we have a little review. And I think that's it. So thank you.
May,
Give that to you.
That was it?
may I?
That was it.
May I also request, since we have two select board members here, that please voice the request for a planning board member,
Yes,
to
I asked
join
about
us.
that today. And
just in case we have another night like tonight where we've got we have one member out
Yep.
and we almost don't have a quorum. So,
will do.
okay, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
This is, when people say that people should have term limits, this is why you don't have term limits in town politics, town boards, because it's really hard to get people. So I
Julie,
appreciate everybody's service.
Well, it's hard also, I think, because there hasn't been continuity. We've missed the last two meetings have been canceled, so you sort of get out of a rhythm of
Right.
coming to the monthly meetings.
Yeah, and I will say next meeting, there will be a lot of people here.
Yes.
Speaking of the next meeting, does that application need to have a motion to table the application until the next meeting?
we did.
Oh, we did that already?
Yes, we did.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
We didn't table it, you just announced it.
You announced at the beginning.
Oh,
I don't
Oh,
know
good point.
if you have to table, since you announced it, I don't know if that's,
That it was.
because it
that
was never even,
Yeah, that it was
Okay.
postponed till next month.
yeah, because it hasn't been
It
in
hasn't,
yet.
yeah,
Hasn't
we
been
haven't
in yet.
reviewed it.
yes, I don't believe,
Table
yes.
it. We haven't
Because
reviewed it.
Barbara did say that abutters were notified that it would be November, not October.
Right.
So it was never officially part of this agenda, other than just on the paper
Right.
that we see in front of us. So,
Excellent. Sounds good.
all right. One other question I had for Julie. We received an email from Barbara that was asked to disseminate to HDC members. It says the state has established a commission for coastal resilience and economic development program.
Yes.
As detailed in SB 285, it includes historic resource protection. I have been appointed as state rep. Someone from the HDC needs to be appointed to this commission. No schedule has been yet established,
Correct.
but would probably start next month and meet monthly or via subcommittee. It is a dense piece of legislation that references other state laws. I'd like to discuss, this says November meeting, sorry.
Well, you can wait on that if you want, because I know next meeting is going to be full.
Okay, I'll be honest to say I haven't had a chance to dig into this.
It's the first time that we've had a piece of legislation or study done that is specifically calling out historical resources as a matter to actually be looked at, not just say, oh yeah, you should look at that. So what we're expecting to have come out of it is some identifications of what kind of resources are under risk. This is applying to any town that has frontage on the Great Bay or any part of the Great Bay, so Exeter is included because
coastal
of the
frontage.
Squamscott River. But when you read it, you'll see that a lot of it has to deal with towns uniting, maybe changing our borders. This is if we have historic districts that abut each other, we might want to consider making a separate historic district that we can do, because it's establishing funds too for preservation. So we might want to join with another town, create sort of a village, almost a village political subdivision that's just an historic district. And then be able to share financial responsibility for the care and feeding of structures in danger.
Hasn't there already been a study done in Exeter for historic properties at risk for coastal flooding?
Yeah, but it doesn't give any suggestions for what to do with it. It just says, check out the river.
But they've been identified?
No, not really.
No?
Okay, I thought there was
Just the flood zones, and
Yeah.
that was it.
the flood zone, I think was part of that, but I thought there was like a bathymetric study done on the rise of the river and all of that. That was part of the removal of the dam and all of that.
There was a bathymetry study, yeah, and it went up from the Great Dam to Little River, but that's all it was just looking at
It
the,
wasn't the Squamscott?
no.
Okay, gotcha.
Do we know what adjacent towns have historic districts? Because I don't think Newmarket has.
Newfields
one.
does not.
Nor does Stratham. No, I know, that's the thing. When it was before my subcommittee and we were talking about municipal boundaries, I've made this joke in the past, but, you know, Exeter used to be made up of the surrounding communities, except for Stratham, it's always separate. And I wanted to annex them back, because then we can share,
Resources.
we can share, yeah, resources, the fire and police departments, et cetera. New building over there, so why can't we use that? Anyway, that was my joke. But in the committee.
They were part of the parade at Christmas. I
That's
mean.
right. In my committee, I said something like that, where, you know, does this mean if we're joining boundaries, we can just annex the next town? And of course, the person that was testifying said, well, no, you can't annex a town. You know, you can ask them, and it's like, I'm not gonna ask them, we're just gonna take their town. But that's the idea, is that if we find that there are resources in common, that we can, and it also talks about being prepared to move a building, like, can you imagine the long block? If we get severe flooding, and it's predicted a severe storm, and with the climate change, that the Swayze Parkway will be under 6 feet of water.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, we need to find a solution in
I looked
some manner.
at a project in Newburyport that's on the Merrimack River at the mouth on Joppa Flats. And we looked at, it was one of the first efforts to raise a building. And we got pushed back, and then it was abandoned, and the owner decided to pay the additional money for insurance for the house. And if it needs to be done in the future, he'll do it in the future. But we were looking at raising up the building and putting flood openings, which is that's gonna have to happen.
Well,
If you want to save the buildings, they have to be either moved or raised.
Right.
So,
One of the things in particular, that's called out in particular in this bill is historical cemeteries. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
somebody on the legislature has
oh
a
my, yeah.
big interest in that.
Yeah, there was a flood somewhere where the cemeteries were inundated, and
There's a,
I think Hampton,
there's a reason that New Orleans, they're all mausoleums
right.
for that reason,
Yeah.
yeah.
so they don't get exhumed
Yep.
by floodwaters, right?
So, yeah, take a look at it, give me any comments, or work out amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be on it?
I feel like a traitor.
Because I think the select board has to appoint it, but I don't want to just say Patrick's gonna do it, you know?
Right. I'm trying to think.
And this is like it's not just a short-term study committee, it's an actual commission that's gonna be probably 2 years. And like I said, it may be broken up into subcommittees that meet less often or more often.
What's the stipend for it?
For you? You get mileage, I believe. I get mileage.
Oh, mileage, okay.
So
Okay,
that's it. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Does it meet in Concord, even though it's all about the Great Bay? It's all a really smart thing. Yeah. Move to adjourn.
On other business, we also had the approval of meeting minutes for July 18th,
You
2019.
said that they were already
We don't have a
approved
quorum
because-
for the members that were there.
But we've got,
You said they were
It's-
automatic at the
been-
beginning.
It goes automatic,
it's been so many months.
Yep.
So approved. Meeting minutes, July 18th, 2019. Motion to adjourn,
I did.
moved. All in favor?
The
Thank you.
jaded member of the HDC over there.